g'day once again to ye mateys. I be Josh the Pirate, and I be back for some more Tactics Tyrsday. Today I am going to look at some more indie games, because indie games are fun and the lifeblood of our sort of hobby. So yes, I have acquired some more in this massive bundle that Kate O'Sullivan's told me about. And today I think I'll start with Swing, which is built on the Caltrop core, which is what attracted me to it, because yesterday we played Foretold, which was also built on the Caltrop core, and I was like, okay, I didn't mind Caltrop core before, so, like, not knowing what the fuck Caltrop core is, other than that Foretold was built on it, well, this has been too, so if it's anything like Foretold, I'll probably enjoy it. Hey, Thermior, good to see you. The Lorite, my dear, how are you? Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining me. And all our lovely other people in chat, good to see you all here. So, let's dive into it. But before we do, I do need to mention that I am Josh the Pirate. Welcome to my channel, Corsair's Cove. Thank you for joining me. It's the channel I run with my lovely lady wife, the mother of bunnies, where we play D&D and other assorted RPGs. We are proudly supporting the people of Ukraine, who are undergoing a bit of a shitty time right now, as I'm sure you are aware. If you have any spare pennies in your digital wallets, please check out the links I have put in chat. Those are for a couple of charity fundraising efforts to support the people of Ukraine. Other than that, you can check out our wonderful affiliates, Wootenforge, at wootenforge.com/Corsairs Cove, where you could acquire some beautiful handcrafted wooden tabletop accessories like this beautiful dice box made of Australian jarrah, and they'll do leather inlay for the dice roller part of it. With they can burn, they can do laser engraving. There you go, you can see it there. They also stock dice, pretty dice in boxes like this one. Karen got these for me. These are Tiger's Eye stone dice, and they're very pretty. Grabby paws, exactly right. So, all the spruiking done out of the way. Music tonight is provided by Sirenscape, because I have the royalties to it. And, you know, smooth jazz, who doesn't mind? So, let's get into it. Let's have a look at Swing. Swing, built on the Caltrop core. The chill of night sets in with the disappearing sun. The sounds of the city seem to echo louder in the darkness. You stand on the edge of a building. Drop before you a terrifying precipice. Any sane individual would never take another step towards the deadly plunge. But not you. You put on the mask, you take that step, and you fly. Swing is a tabletop role-playing game for at least one player and one GM. Players create characters that have incredible abilities and the drive to use them for the betterment of mankind. You might call them superheroes. Interesting. And if you do, you might consider the kinds of stories you tell using this game to be street level. Furthermore, you might even point out that the supernatural bits are far from the point, and that superheroes of this genre are usually character driven. Of course, this supposes quite a bit about you and your table. Who knows what any of this even means? I'm not certain. What you need to play: at least one character and one player. Sorry, one player and one DM. A character sheet and a piece of paper and a pencil per player. 2 to 5 4-sided dice per player, though you can share something to use as tokens, at least 5 per player. Alright? Okay, so it's the absolute failure, partial success, absolute success. Taking action, swing, slug, and sense. This game is played with only 3 stats, representing the physical abilities of your character. During character creation, you have 6 points to sort between your 3 stats. Each stat must have at least 1 point. When players take an action, they should determine which of their 3 stats the action uses in the context of what they wish to accomplish, and roll that many d4s, using the highest number. Okay, right. This number corresponds with the results table below, so you could take 2, 2, and 2, having a decent chance of rolling something good on each one of them, or you could just try and avoid using slug, say, and take an extra point in swing, meaning that you can, you could be 3 in swing, or hell, you could be 4 in swing. and just crap at slug and sense, if that's what you're going for. So right off the bat, I'm seeing a reasonably limited sort of character building. You're like, because you have to have at least 1 point in each, because you have to presumably have to be able to make checks in each one. So you have to have the ability to roll at least 1 dice. Otherwise, I would say you automatically absolutely fail. That being said, I can't imagine why you would want to be more than, say, 3 in a single stat, because just statistically, like, obviously occasionally the dice will just screw you up, but statistically, you ought to roll at least 2 on 3 dice. Character creation. So when players take an action, they should determine which of their stats the action uses in the context of what they wish to accomplish, and roll that many d4s, keeping the highest number. This number corresponds to the results table below, which is a first instance I am noticing of the Caltrop core. Oh, I'm going to use Ivan's Firebird in the Grim Hollow campaign I'm starting this Saturday. Ooh! I mean, the players don't know that yet, but should they choose to pick up the mission for the king, there it is. Ah, okay, cool. Well, that's awesome. Good. Yeah, fun little adventure. I'm excited. Is it live, or are you just playing? Are you just playing around a table, Adana? You have a power. It burns in your veins, surging through you and making you into something more. It lets you scale buildings, swing from rooftop to rooftop, survive leaping from the heights that would kill anybody else. Describe this power and what you can do with it. A power is any ability greater than the expected for the average human being. Try to keep the description down to a sentence or two. Sticking to walls, enhanced strength, enhanced acrobatics, cognitive precognition. Interesting wording of that. Cognitively precognitively. Don't cognitive precognition. Cognitive basically means thinking. Thinking before you think. Precognition is, knowing about something before it happens. You don't need to add cognitive. That's just say precognition. You can see the future. Could be simplified to proportional strength and abilities of a spider. Oh, okay, cool. Enhanced strength, enhanced acrobatics, and cognitive precognition could be simplified to proportional strength and abilities of a spider, hence Spider-Man. Yeah, cool. I get it. Nice. Interestingly worded. Without losing any important information, if you wish to create a character with no paranormal abilities, feel free to describe their fighting style or chosen techniques in the same manner. A la Batman. You have a responsibility. It weighs on your shoulders like a yoke. It is ever-present, buzzing in your ear. It calls to you to pick up the suit and head out into the dark night, over and over again. Describe this responsibility and why it is yours. Uncle Ben died in my arms, saying, with great power comes great responsibility. A responsibility is an ideal or commitment your character is dedicated to. The details can be as deep as you want, but it's easy to be It is easiest when summed up in a single word or phrase. Family, duty, responsibility, freedom. Good examples. When you perform an action to fulfill your responsibility at the detriment of your personal life, take a token and mark your track. Tokens can be spent to re-roll the lowest die on of a future roll. Similar deal again. You have a past. It whispers in your ear, taunting you with your own inadequacy. You cannot sleep. For seeing in your dreams, your power cannot defeat it, your responsibility won't let you forget it. Describe your past and how it breaks your heart. Oh. Good. That's very cool. Past is a traumatic, otherwise formative event in your character's backstory. It may not be the fault of your character, or even something that directly happened to them, but it is still an event that sticks with them. When you fill out your track, your past returns to haunt you. Ooh. The next time you roll a 4, reset your track to 0 and remove any leftover tokens you may have had. Your DM will tell you how your past makes itself known. You fill out your track. Detriment of your personal life, take a token and mark your track. Tokens can be spent to re-roll. Then, next time you roll a 4. When you fill out your track, presumably once you've filled it. Okay, I think we just need to get to tracks first. Just playing around the table, I've decided on a hardcore, as in no divine intervention in case of death and wounds and illness is a big thing. Dark fantasy thing where there is no overarching plot from the start. It might develop as we go. They will start in a prison cell deep underground and have to get out, find gear, find their way to the surface. Cool. Sounds dope. Love it. Optional, if you would like to create a character who is unaware of their past, inform your DM and instead choose a mystery. The DM will determine your character's past and introduce hints towards it during gameplay. Gear. Sometimes power isn't just enough. Gear is a term used for any additional tools, clothing used while acting as your alias. At character creation, you can choose one piece of gear to equip. You may pick freely or use useful tables provided in the book. Like that they've highlighted the useful table. Gear gives no additional mechanical benefit, instead giving you options for flavoring your scenes. Okay, sure. Some actions may be considered unavailable without certain kinds of gear, so it does give you a mechanical benefit. Such as spying from a distance without binoculars or listening to a phone conversation without a wiretap. Talk to your DM with both about the availability of gear at your table, as well as what kind of gear you'd like to find during your adventures. Dear me, pardon me. So, thus far, conceptually interesting. Like it. And I am aware that there are superhero RPGs out there, but I have never played one. I've been told about a couple of good ones. And yeah, this is an interesting, it looks like it's a, rules light superhero game. Very heavy on the storytelling, which I quite like. I would enjoy playing this very sort of mutually, creatively with the DM, or with the player as the DM. Where sort of, you introduce the scene and then just ask them to describe what happens, well as just having that RPG, that narrative interaction that you play in the NPC character. Because I would argue that their stats doesn't lend itself to it doesn't look like it. These stats would lend itself to a full round by round combat situation. But I just saw the word combat, so let's find out. The trouble in this city won't go down without a fight, and neither should you. When the customers get a little too rough for your liking, here's what you do. Keep an extra D4 off to the side and lower its value by 1 whenever you take a hit. Don't worry, your DM will tell you when you get one. It's not HP, but once you get knocked down to 0, you probably aren't in any position to do much more than lie there. Taking a breather out of the fray lets you increase the value by 1. Take loose turns with your party and don't hog the spotlight. It's if you naturally roll the highest number on an attack roll, which is a 4 by the way, take another attack action and the combo that shit. If someone's taking shots, they probably won't stop until you're gone. The average Joe can only take 1 or 2 hits before they're down and out of the fight, so don't underestimate them. But don't worry about getting overwhelmed too quickly. Okay. So, very light on how does. Game Masters. Focus less on balancing HP pools and party balance and more on creating interesting and fun scenarios where your players get to use their powers and gear to solve problems. Your job isn't to TPK the chumps. The dice rolls will introduce complications all on their own. Have the small fries go down in 1 or 2 hits. Mowing through a handful of foot soldiers will let your players feel powerful before you hit them with the big guns. Make sure everyone gets a turn. Try something before you introduce any big changes to the status quo. This is more of an art than a science, but at the very least, make sure your players each get to roll for something at least once before you completely alter the scenario around them. I would say this is good. Basically, it's a lot of that I would label as just good practice DMing. Doesn't really matter what you're talking about, but yeah, fair points all round. I am uncertain about the necessity of it all. Well, this is the trick, and as he says, art versus science, balance is difficult. Yes. Let them keep fighting as long as they're having fun. If they logically stop your big bad in a couple of rounds and it feels underwhelming, introduce a complication to extend the scene without taking away their victory. Maybe the building is set to explode, or the hostages being yoinked away by the aliens. I don't know, it's your job. Take a deep breath. You got this. No, seriously, you need to breathe. And then we get to useful tables. So, which would seem to be like the rest of it. And then there's your character sheet. And I guess also Tom Holland for, cuffing his jeans. So it's pretty good. It's very light on how does. Lemon Squeeze Games. Hello, Lemon Squeeze Games. How are you? I am having a look at Swing, a superhero rules light RPG. It is 11 pages long, and 6 of those are tables of just useful stuff. Useful items, backpacks, capes, all that sort of stuff. It's all rolled on a D4s. I'm very well, thanks, Lemon Squeeze Games. I'm a little tired. I have no business being tired, but I am. Rival. A photojournalist, a prophesized dark one, a goose. What? A biker gang, your clone, Mr. Croker. An old friend, you from the future, an ex-lover. These are cool. Yeah. So there's ideas in the back half of it, which is neat. I would say it feels like you roll. My inference from the combat thing, which I think is important to have the rules for combat fairly clearly written out in a superhero roleplay game, where you're going to be biffing and thwacking away at villains a lot. That's sort of the whole point. I think he could have been clearer with the rules for combat. My inference is that you roll once a round, loose round, to achieve something, and basically just roll as good as you can. But it also has a vibe of like Easy D6, where you say, look, this is what I'm going to do, and you sort of narrate your actions, and then the DM says, okay, roll this for that and see how well you do. Because, yeah, I mean, if you've taken 3 points in Swing, then you'll obviously be probably using Swing to do most of your fighting. Which does lead to the... So parkour and acrobatics is Swing, provocation and athletics is Slug, and premonition and academics is Sense. Okay. So you could take points in seeing the future. Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it could be written a bit better. Would be my main note. I think, but I like the layout. I like the concept is really cool. I like the Caltrop core. It's a neat system, neat little system. caltrops because D4s are painful to stand on, presumably. And yeah, but the caltrop core can be summed up in that table. The 1 to 4 absolute failure through to absolute success. Yeah, I reckon it'd be pretty neat. In terms of it doesn't jump out at me as anything particularly special. But it's when you're making something rules-light, you don't have to have a lot of detail, and that's what it doesn't have. I like the character creation elements of it. You've got the responsibility, the past, and the power, and yeah, most of the work is done there. I would be interested to try it, but I feel like a lot of the work is on the DM. To make the world interesting. But after that, it really just becomes another story. Another collaborative storytelling thing where it's nothing that you couldn't do with half a dozen. But it is a perfectly serviceable little game. Got a good layout. I really enjoy the front page. It's quite an interesting. Like I open it up. I'm like, okay, tell me more. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that's Swing. Interesting. Let's have a bit of a. And let's have a look at something else. Parley. Well, gotta have a look at that. Don't we, kiddies? Parley. This is 2 pages, and one of them is this. Okay. Parley. After years of battle, you're told to hold a parley with your enemy in a neutral village. What you see and your interactions with your enemy will decide if there will be peace or more war. The story is based on the second guess system by William Leitz. You will need a writing device and something to write on, as well as a D20 and a D6. The game is divided into a series of turns known as moments. At the start of each turn, roll a D20 and consult the chart. Twist concerns when you roll a prompt more than once. The twist occurs when you roll a prompt more than once. Here you must reveal either more details about your previous answer or another occurrence of it. Hey, Tony. A peace tracker might increase or decrease with certain prompts. You can keep track using tokens or hash marks. After 5 twists, roll the d6 and compare it to the peace tracker. If you roll over the number, you have learned too much, seen too much, and can't bring yourself to do more than call the parley off for war. If you roll under the number, you have learned enough, seen enough, and can empathize with your enemy and are able to broker a peace with them. Either way, use the twist as a breaking point and write how you come to your conclusion. If you meet the number, continue rolling for the prompts, rolling d6 with every twist. Your peace tracker starts at 0. Huh. That's fucking neat. I like that. I'm gonna suggest Karen and I do this one next time, next Monday. This is cool. Your enemy does something so atrocious that you're tempted to declare war right there. What is it? -2 peace. Oh dear, that's a 1. Something occurs in the village that leads you and your enemy to work together to make it right. What is it? +1 peace. Ooh. Hey, Crisp and Crunch. How are you, buddy? We're having a look at some TTRPGs, some little indie games. I feel like this one is a one-person game. I think but it doesn't say. I love little short ones. Yeah, this is a little one called Parley, and the rules are 2 paragraphs. Love it. Love everything about it. Tired but good. This from the bundle? Yes, it is from the Humble Bundle. Exactly. As is the one before, we had a look at Swing, which is pretty good. I didn't think Swing was anything particularly special, but perfectly serviceable little game. The main trick was with it just didn't jump out to me as, this is something different and unusual that I've never seen before. The only thing I would say was different and unusual about Swing is the system it used. But, as in the system of dice rolling it used. But you could just as easily use any half dozen other systems to create the same narrative. But it was neatly done. It was. I would say there was a few points where it was poorly worded, which is always a thing when you're gonna get with a solo indie developer, somebody who just like, hey, here's an idea, pops it down. You can edit it. You can get other people to look at it. Maybe makes sense to 2 or 3 people, but it hasn't been proofread by like a dozen people and then play tested to hell and back. So even the wizards don't manage to do that, and get all of the difficulty bits out. So yeah, look. But this one ticks many of my boxes. This is the Parley game. And yeah, it's a D20 and a D6, and you have to make peace. And you write the story of the peace talks, which I think is hecking cool. And yeah, I might get Karen to come and play it with me next Monday. You hear rumors from the villagers that don't paint your enemy in a favorable light. What are they? -1 piece. Help is found in the strangest of places. What does your enemy help you with? Do they reveal why? +1 piece. You reflect on some of the more interesting battles against this enemy. What one draws your attention the most? So I would say you do need to, like, if I had a note on this one, it's a really cool idea. You could do a little more in the, hey, so who is the enemy? Where are you? What's going on? I mean, we can do that. It's sort of implicit, but some prompts would have been nice for that. But otherwise, Laura Governick, well done. Fucking cool idea. Such a neat little system. Neat little game. It's based on the Second Guess system by William Lentz. And yeah. Sweet little thing. Fucking love it. Good job, Laura. theluckynewtgames@gmail.com. I may well get in contact with. Again, another theater sports one. Yes, very much so. It was like pass it around the room. Yeah, very cool. Alright, yeah. Quick and inoffensive. Love it. Okay. Retail.Therapy. It's provocative, isn't it? Yep. Retail.Therapy, a game by Mike Free. Game was written, edited by Mike Free. You can follow them on Twitter. Yada yada yada. Okay. Why are you off center? Hey, Terrace. After disastrous bath. Terrace, how does one have a disastrous bath? Did you know? Did I know? For people who really enjoy the creative imagination part of roleplay. Yeah, exactly. Peppermint bath salts exist. I did not. I do now. Because I sure as fuck didn't. So did you put peppermint bath salts and that's why it was disastrous? Was it... I would imagine it feels cold regardless of how hot it is. Could be challenging, yeah. Why? Yeah, I feel like I have bathed myself in mouthwash and vodka. Yeah, it sounds legit. But also peppermint. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Okay, so... Um, so this is a bad time game. Why would I want this? This sounds awful. Okay. It's Saturday afternoon. You've had to pee for the last 20 minutes, but Carl is still not back from his 30. And you're the only other cashier scheduled today. There's at least 10 people online. The lady at your register is complaining about someone smoking in the doorway. You watch as two people load canvas bags with the display you put together. A drunk teenager puked on the floor. You are having a bad time. Retail.Therapy is a game about the challenging life of working retail while trying not to succumb to apathy. This is not about purchasing your sorrows away. No, you are the retail. You will most likely need therapy. Okay. Retail.Therapy is a bad time game, which means that this game was designed with the bad time game system by Kyle Tam at Urania Games, as the mechanical foundation with tweaks and a little bit of prodding to better fit the theme. So what exactly is a bad time game? Hey, GM Radio Rob! Thanks for joining me. Sounds like Clerks the game. It does, rather, doesn't it? Yeah. Good evening, sir. To put it simply, a bad time game is a game where we, the players, attempt to have a good time telling stories about characters having a bad time. That's right, Power Fantasy is out, Schadenfreude is in. Okay, sure. Why would I want this? It sounds awful. Look, there are plenty of stories about badasses triumphing through adversity. There are enough games about lucky bastards stumbling on success. We have seen characters whose hubris triggers their demise. This time is time to tell a different story. The story of poor souls who work 5 days a week, but not enough to qualify for benefits. Those days, whose days off are Tuesday and Sunday, whose primary responsibility is to be a punching bag for the whims of the customer. You know what really sounds awful? Working 16 hours at a grocery store that is purposefully understaffed because someone called out. Let's take the time to tell the stories of these often mistreated workers. Okay. I worked retail once. Yeah. Retail. So glad I no longer have to work in that fresh hell. Yeah. I worked in a game store, as in the store Game, as in before it went bankrupt in Australia. I believe it's still a thing in England. I worked in that. That was like I've done hospo, I've done fast food, I've done retail. And dead set, I preferred retail of the three. But to Bunnings. See, I feel like I might actually enjoy working at Bunnings Terrace. I'm old enough that now that my retail experience is more than half my life ago. Trade speaking people are freaking rude. Oh, okay, there, yeah. You see, that may be like I haven't struggled with them, but I can present as a tradie. And when I'm interacting with them, I purposefully do. But yeah, they are massively disrespectful to anybody they don't respect, even if they sometimes should. Nothing about me makes me scream tradie. Yeah, fair, yeah. Ruder than teachers or geophysicists, maybe. Wow. Why geophysicists specifically? Crispin Crunch, what do you do? And I find teachers to be quite polite. Mind you, I know a bunch. Alright, let's have a look at the game, shall we? Now that you're a member of our team, we would like to take a moment to give you some basic information that we'll need to be successful. Senior IT support. Huh. I quite like most teachers. Yeah. Unless you have... I reckon your opinion may change. I mean, Terrace has children, but your opinion might be different if you have kids, but... we would like to take a moment to give you some basic information that we'll need to be successful. Please read the following sections carefully and make sure to ask your manager about anything that you read here. We look forward to your growth as an associate TM. First, we would like to congratulate you on your new job. As a member of our team, we would like to let you know that you are not just an employee. You're an associate TM. Associates TM are expected to do all of the tasks that make sure the store is ready to meet the customer's needs, demands, Let's review the 4 main actions an associate TM may perform throughout the day. Appease, clean, organize, and scrabble. I like them, but find them time short. They are that. Because they're not paid enough money to do the job they do. My friend Jess is on 0.8, but she is working 50 hours a week. But she's only being paid for 0.8 of full time, which is, and that's pretty standard. Most teachers don't know about most teachers, but my information, what I have been told is that the vast majority of teachers, a good majority of teachers, don't work. They do something like 0.8 or 0.6. Is the only way to find a decent work-life balance. Yeah. And people seem to think that Teacher's Day ends when the kids get out and start when they come back in. Yeah, exactly. Just like, I was never a full-time teacher, but like when my teaching job is not current, but yeah, when I was doing the classes, my hourly rate was 60 an hour, and the headmistress was always a bit like, "What? So much?" I'm like, well, first of all, I do have to drive for an hour to get to said school. I didn't when I started working there. But it was still a 40-minute drive plus, even at the very beginning. But it's not just the drive and just the hour in class. It's not like I'm doing, like, it's a dance school and she's a dance teacher and that's her experience. I'm like, well, you do have to come up with the dances, right? But then they spend like a term teaching the dance. But, like, I genuinely don't know how long it takes to come up with choreography. I would imagine a few hours. But this is the thing. Even if that's the case, they weren't being paid for the full hours. They weren't being paid to come up. The other teachers weren't being paid to come up with their choreography. But I was doing 20, 30 minutes of prep per class because I had to. Yeah. I worked in a museum gift shop for 7 years, having to be polite to Karen B with her small dog when it's 32 degree in the shop with the window open while telling her that her pocket puppy doesn't count as a support dog is just... Pocket puppy doesn't count as a support dog. No, it doesn't. You have to have paperwork, don't you? All right. Which do you think you are best at? On your name tag, divide 3 points between your actions. Okay. Sorry, I keep dropping my fiddle. I've been given a new fiddle. It's basically a spring. It's basically like a slinky, but it's tied around itself and it can like slide up your finger. And it's just the tactile sensation of it is extremely addictive. I know, right? I've been given 2 of them. Yeah, I have been playing with them constantly. Since, like, when I sit down at my desk, one of them goes in my hands and I'm immediately just like, Yeah. If it looks like I have more rings than normal, that's why. I've got a gold one and a silver one, and Tristan's a freaking legend. Because he hates them. He bought just a bag of random fiddles. And we were playing D&D on Sunday, and he was like, just dumps the bag on the table and says, take what you want. I don't want any of those ones. I don't like them. So I wound up with these 2. Yeah. Actually, don't give. I'll try to stick it on my tongue and it'll get stuck. The worst is when you meld them together. If you roll them up your finger at the same time, they get combined. And I broke one. I also resemble that one. Yeah. I haven't tried to put it anywhere other than my fingers yet. So, yeah, appease, clean, organize, and scrabble. Choosing an action. As discussed earlier, there are 4 main actions that associates perform to complete their daily tasks and satisfy our customers. When a customer is upset, complaining, or even yelling, an associate may choose to apologize or otherwise appease the customer until they calm down. Nobody likes shopping in a dirty store. It's important that associates clean all visible surfaces, including any accidental biohazardous spills that might occur. Similarly, organizing the shelves, be neatly stocked, provide more pleasant shopping experience, and when all else fails, an associate may need to scramble. For example, when Mrs. Jones comes to get her daily kumquat, however, there is no more on the shelf, an associate may need to scramble to the back to get it in a timely manner. Otherwise, the shift lead may have to appease Mrs. Jones later. Family safe channel. That is the only thing that saved me. Is it? It's an 18+. Crisp and Crunch, I mean, you're welcome to do whatever you... I have to restrict yourself in some way. Alright, for you, Crisp and Crunch, it is a family safe channel. Everybody else welcome to say what they want. Although I do like to cut down the cusses as much as possible. Just for our friends in the States. When the time comes, it's up to an associate to determine which action they are taking and describing how the action is being performed in a way that makes sense for the situation. If you feel a fellow associate has not described an action in a way that makes sense for the situation, consider writing a formal complaint to the manager to discuss your grievances. Okay. Performing a task. The dice stuff. Aha. 44. 1d4 per point in the action and stress. Okay. Once an associate has decided on an action they are performing, it is time for them to take the task. Where the actions describe how an associate overcomes adversity, the task describes what needs to be overcome. When an associate has a task, they choose which action they are performing, describe how they perform the action, roll 4d4 minus 1d4 per point in the action, plus stress. If the value of the roll is 7 or lower, they succeed. If the value is 8 or more, they fail. Narrate the results of the roll. So being good at something means you roll less dice in it because you're aiming low. Okay. Plus stress, which I presume we will find out later. That is right. Retail.Therapy uses 4-sided dice. Why? Because the D4 is the most underappreciated worker of the standard gaming set. I don't know about that. The D12, I would say. When an associate fails a roll, the total of 8 or more, guess who did more laundry? Wow, Tony. How many clothes do you own? Like, I do 2 loads and I've washed, like, most of my stuff. When an associate fails a roll, they gain 1 stress. On your name tag, fill in the stress bubble. The more stressed out an associate is, the more likely they are to fail at future tasks. Oh no. Per point in the action plus stress. So the only way for an associate may remove stress is succumbing to apathy and cry in the bathroom. Fully with you, RE the D12. The D4 gets the hog the limelight with Magic Missile. Did all the colours yesterday with the whites today. Mostly bed linens. Fair. If an associate rolls a total of 16 or more whilst performing a task, they immediately succumb to apathy and will go to cry in the bathroom. This is an important part of the retail experience and should not be avoided. While you are crying in the bathroom, tasks become more stressful for your fellow associates, who must now carry around the weight of your absence. Whenever another associate performs a task, erase a stress bubble from your name tag and give them, that associate, your stress. After giving your fellow associate 1 stress, if your total stress is 7 or less, you have collected yourself emotionally and may return to work. Ooh. But even then, 7 or less is basically... Total of... Gain 1 stress. Okay. Not per point you lose by. Yeah, well... Crisp and Crunch prefers temperatures where clothes are optional. A wife and a tenant. Terrace is advocating for being a nudist at home, which, you know... Yes, it's like energy. GM Radio Rob. Stress is never lost. It just gets transferred. Okay. Crying in the bathroom. The role. Take a moment to think about about your skills as an associate. Are you a friendly, knowledgeable person able to answer customer questions? Are you do you have an eye for merchandising a shelf? Are you a team leader? Not every person is going to excel at every task, which is why we have different roles in the store to allow our associates' unique talents to shine. Roles are customer service assistant, stock merchandiser, shift leader, security guard. Oh, sure. Fair enough, Crisp and Crunch. That's awesome. Well done. Bloody legend. It is fine if multiple associates fulfill the same role. However, it is generally advisable, error there, that a team has, it's generally advised, maybe, that a team has at least one person in each role. Remember to write which role you believe you are suited for on your name tag. Role special. When shit hits the fan and the work has to get done, that is when you, as an associate, must tap into your true power. Through hard-earned experience and pure desperation, you may tap into your role's special move once per session. Each role has 2 special moves to choose from. Make sure to note down the move you have on your name tag. Okay, so you can choose 2. Okay. Cool. Manifest yourself. Making this seem to be just a shorter form. Notice a list of traits. Pick 2 traits. What coworkers say when they talk shit about your associate to their friends. Using your traits. Before you make a roll to perform a task, you may use a trait. Describe how the trait is relevant to the situation and immediately add 1 stress to your name tag. When you roll to perform the task, roll 1 less dice. Ooh. You may do this once per session for each trait. However, because you're adding stress, you are adding a +1 to the score of anything you're making. I would be very hesitant to do that. Fill in the details. Take the time to fill... But this is the thing. I play to win. And here I thought having a roommate living with me and my partner for 4 years was annoying. Adding kids to that would make you run away screaming in a week. We currently have a housemate, but we've got the best kind of housemate. We haven't seen her in nearly a year. She owns the house, but yeah, we rarely see her. And even when she was living here, she was working sort of 12-hour days, so we didn't see her a lot anyway. Take time to fill out the details. So what do they look like? What is their name? How old are they? All the things that customer would notice when they first see your associate. Also take a moment to write down what drove your associate to start working here. Is your associate a teenager just trying to make some extra cash? Retired? A person with a pension that doesn't pay enough? A single mom working 2 jobs? Why are they here? Write it down. Stress. Okay. Yeah. Goes to 16. Cry in the bathroom for a while, hey? Aloof, arrogant, condescending, confrontational, controlling, detached, dishonest, hostile, ill, impatient, impulsive, lazy, nosy, morbid, prideful, shy, stubborn, timid, tired. Special move. Okay, wow. So these are the playbooks, essentially. The manager. Someone's got to be the manager, and that someone is you. Manager is a player, but instead of playing an associate, they generally frame the scene and describe the DM. Adversity is the character's face. There are lots of different ways to be a manager, so I cannot comprehensively tell you how to be one. I can, however, give you some advice. Being a bad manager. Most managers suck. Can confirm. I don't mean that they are bad at their jobs, I mean they suck to work with/for. The number one thing about trying to be a good manager will contend with is the inherent power imbalance of the position. Note that in games, including this one, like jobs, will create inherent antagonistic relationships between different roles within a social hierarchy. Many of these masters will try to hide this power difference. They say things like, I'm just another player with a different set of rules, or I'm part of the team, just like you. Bullshit. Being a manager gives you a degree of agency that others, whether you like it or not. First step to being a good manager is to recognize the power that you have over others. Only after acknowledging this power difference will you be able to learn how to be a good manager. I mean, don't disagree with that, even if you apply it to DMing. Once you have recognized the position of power being a manager has over other people, you may begin to work to be a better manager. Now, I'm not able to tell you how to go about being a better manager, because groups have people with very different social dynamics, and it's very likely that your group likes playing games in a different way from mine. With that being said, here are some things you might want to keep in mind while playing Retail Therapy. This is a bad time game. More specifically, the game about retail workers having a bad time. Players should be having a good time. Retail workers face abusive customers all the time. Make sure to abuse the associate that the abuse an associate may face is not also being felt by the player, which is hard, I would say. Clarify the stakes. Let the player know that the consequences of failing, what the consequences are before rolling the dice. If Stacy fails this appease roll, the customer will ask for a refund. Let the player narrate their failures. Instead of telling the player, ask the associate what happens and how they respond. Okay, so the customer is demanding a refund but doesn't have a receipt. I roll my eyes and call Darren, our shift leader, over to the register because I don't get paid enough for this shit. Ask for more details. If you are unsure what an associate is trying to achieve by making a roll, ask the player. This game relies on everyone having a clear idea of what's happening in the narrative. Again, that is some solid advice. Yeah. An example. Rain is with some friends playing Retail Therapy. They are playing Casey, a young seasonal temp cashier working during her summer vacation. She, Casey, has a customer at her register. This customer, who introduced himself as George Washington, is trying to return a generic cough syrup from the different store chain. Mr. Washington naturally does not have a receipt, but that's fine. He only wants store credit. Casey tries to generally point out that the product comes from a different store. Casey is going to attempt to appease Mr. Washington. Rain looks at Casey's name tag. They have 2 points in appease. This means Rain will roll 4d4 plus 2. 1 for every point in the action, for a total of 2d4. Now Rain could also use one of Casey's traits by explaining how the trait could affect the situation. Immediately take 1 stress and roll 1 less d4, but Rain feels confident that they can succeed whilst rolling 2d4. They roll and unfortunately get 2 4s for a total of 8. Casey fails. Casey gains 1 stress as Mr. Washington raises his voice. This is outrageous! I just came to do a simple return. How dare you not help me? I'm a customer like everyone else. Where is your manager? If Casey has already had stress, they may use the ability Check Yourself to remove a stress instead of taking one. However, this being Rain's first roll, Casey had no stress to remove. Okay. Later in the session, the day has progressed and nobody is happy about it. Casey's co-worker, Jay, usually manages the inventory and stocks the shelves, is currently crying in the bathroom from the stress of the day. Having no one else to turn to, a customer asks Casey if they have any daily TM multivitamins in stock. Because specifically the 45 count, as the customer needs plenty for the month, but the 60 count is too expensive. Rain looks at Casey's name tag. Casey has no points in Organize, and in fact is rarely even in the stockroom. Sure, she knows the general layout of the store, but to find a specific bottle of daily TM multivitamin that may or may not be in stock is a bit beyond her scope. However, Casey does have a point in Scramble. The line is backed up, she's the only one on the floor, but this customer has needs and she needs to get shit done. She needs to scramble and find this item and get back to help the other customers. Rain will roll 4d4 minus 1. 1 for every point in the action, for a total of 3d4. Casey also has 6 stress. 4 Rain rolls. Sasha, the person playing Jay, erases 1 stress from Jay's name tag and gives the stress to Casey. Casey now has 7 stress. Casey rolls and gets a 3, a 2, a 3, and a 4 for a total of 9. Adding 9 to Casey's 7 stress means the total roll is 16. Casey is now going to give into apathy and cry in the bathroom. The game is over. Wow. The whole point is to drive the game to its end. You're not playing to win, which is, I think, the trick, because I've been looking at it as gosh, this would be really hard to win. It's not possible to win, and that's the point. The point is to make things as awful as possible for these people until one of them is just, I'm out, I'm done. Then there's a quick reference guide. Yeah, neat. I think the big trick is it's not for me. 3 to 5 players, 2 to 5 hours. I don't think it would be. You need to play to be funny, not to win. Yeah, I reckon that would be the trick, Crisp and Crunch. Where funny is actually kind of cruel. Yeah, I mean, the word Schadenfreude was used at the beginning, and I reckon that's valid. But yeah, Schadenfreude literally means amusement at other people's misfortune. But there's a point where it's just like punching down, you know? But I could see how this could be fun. I could see how it could be funny. It could be an entertaining way to spend an afternoon, you know? Do what you want. Action fails. And you start crying in the bath. Yeah. I think the system is cool. I think it's detailed enough. I think the examples are really helpful. That's very cool. I think it's well made. I just don't think it's my kind of thing. But it's a neat thing. I don't hate it. Party game with unwilling family. Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see how it could be entertaining. But yeah, I don't think it's sort of not really my sort of thing. And then we have Birds Love Dirt. This is a 1 page. Oh, it's got 2 pages. My apologies. This is a short LARP. And I have read this one. You could turn this into a drinking game where instead of stress you take a shot. Or both. Yeah, I could see that. Birds Love Dirt, a short LARP by Emily Jankowski. You were a bird! You soared through the sky, the feathered embodiment of grace itself. You have just spotted a fresh patch of dirt, and birds love dirt. You need some space to move, preferably outside with some actual dirt, or dust, or mud, or sand. The default game is considered a single-player outdoors. Tips on modifying this can be found on variations. Remember, indoors or out, to be aware of your environment. No matter how you are playing, if at any time a player is injured or feels unsafe physically or otherwise, please stop playing immediately and deal with the situation. Play has 3 phases. Exploration. Begin by taking a moment to remember what kind of bird you are. The species may be important to you, but you should embody your traits. Flap your wings, clack your beak, clutch your talons, chirp a song, do anything that connects with your avian form. Spend a little time enjoying being a bird and exploring the space you are in, but do not get into the dirt yet. Declaration. When you are ready, declare the following, filling in the blanks as you go. I am a bird. I am something else. I am a third thing, and I love dirt. No more delays. Get in the dirt. Do you want to take a dust bath? Build a nest cup? Jump in and out of the dirt? Dig a burrow? Forage for bugs? The dirt is yours to enjoy. When you tire of the dirt, step away. Admire everything you have built or simply how dirty you are. To end the game, just say, I love dirt, one last time. I have a jar of dirt. Yep. Declaration ideas. Bird words include amazing, baby, chaotic, diabolical, exuberant, flighty, gorgeous, haunting, iridescent, joyful, kingly, laughing, magnificent, nocturnal, outstanding, perverted, persevering. Tells you something about me. A quail. They really are trying for one of every letter. Resplendent, soaring, terrific, unafraid, very beautiful, willful, exceptional, yelling, and zippy, or other words. Variations. You don't need special permission to change. Birds love dirt and play in a way you think would be more fun. However, the following suggestions may help to get the most out of the game for some common scenarios. Caged enrichment. If you wish to play but are unable to go outside, you can explore a room instead. It's up to you whether your space represents a natural landscape, whether you simply wandered into a building, as some birds do. Before you play, set up an alternative dirt patch. This should be an area that you can manipulate in avian joy. A pile of blankets, pillows, or old newspapers, perhaps. Get creative with things you have on hand. Once you are set up, play is the same as usual. Flocks. You can have a flock to play with, all the better. For our purposes, 2 or more birds may be considered a flock. Chicks. Young birds love dirt too, even more so. Play should be the same, but small chicks may need guidance throughout the game. Follow the fun, free-form games that break with the 3-phase structure are encouraged if that's what the players want. And of course, adults are extra responsible for the safety of the chicks. Theater game. Not my thing. But it's funny. It's a neat little idea. It's just, yeah, it's charming. I think, yeah, the best usage for it would be as a theater game. Or just some sort of low grade, like, therapeutic catharsis. But I think I would be too in my head about it. I don't think I'd be able to, like, unleash some very littles. Be your inner child again. Yeah, my inner child would be like, my inner child was, my youthful self was quite a calm, chill kid. I was quite a quiet, contemplative kid. And this sort of thing wouldn't have vibed with me as a kid at all. I'd have felt very self-conscious. I still do. Would feel very self-conscious, even alone. But yeah, I think that is the point, Crisp and Crunch, to be your inner child. So far today, Parley is my top pick. As a child, I was trying to figure out Mendelian genetics without realizing they were a thing. Okay. So Josh Googles. Just to see he knows what that is. Inheritance refers to certain patterns of how traits are passed from parents to offspring. These general patterns established an Austrian monk, Arthur Gregor Mendel, Mendelian, who performed thousands of experiments with pea plants in the 19th. Ah, there you go. So many mice were bred. Okay. Now we know, and knowing is half the battle. What next? Chainsaw Humans? A Devil Hunter short RPG? Very short. It's 2 pages. So, if you are going to sell even a short 2-page RPG, please organize it laterally. In profile, not landscape. Why landscape? I like Mr. Darkshire's 1-page RPGs. Oh, yeah. Well, I'll have a look at this one, and then I'll have a look at one of those. Because, yes, I haven't actually looked at that in this setting. called Trapped in a Cabin with Lord Byron. That's the one. Oh, I think I know where I put it. Apologies, everybody. I'm just finding a doc. There it is. Open it with the Acrobat. Really cool if I could. Nope, can't. I think it's just a picture, isn't it? You are on vacation with Lord Byron in his holiday home, but the weather has trapped you and your friends inside the house. Only the strong will survive. A one-page RPG by Oliver Darkshire. Landscape, you can have narrower columns so that the lines are easier to comprehend. Yeah. It just makes it a pig to read. You are devil hunters. Individuals, human or otherwise, who fight against devils, whether a threat... I'm going to zoom in. I cannot read this. I don't want to find, I want to zoom. There we go. Way better. Whether a threat related to them should arise in the world. You are a special branch of law enforcement. Players, create a character. Choose your demeanor and your flaw. Try calm, blunt, childish, brash, polite, friendly, brutal, rude, greedy, naive, unstable, cold. Choose your goal as a devil hunter. Try revenge for deaths, killing as many devils as possible. Boost superiority. Fulfill appetites. Ooh. Hey, Robbie Hoodie. Avast ye, matey. Yes. Ahoy. Choose your number from 2 to 5. A high number means you are better at chainsaw, being brutal, bloody, aggressive, while a low number means you are better at human, being subtle, manipulative, and controlled. Interesting. Okay. Name your character. Adventurous name or nickname such as Kato, Kishabe, Beam, Power, Santa Claus, Cosmo, Long, Aldo, Joey, or Yaru. All devil hunters have a formal dress code, black suit and tie. Choose something you do to distinguish yourself. Sneakers instead of shoes. Skirt instead of trousers. Almost no clothes. Hood covering the head. Shortened trousers. Half-tucked shirt, rolled up sleeves, and no suit. Ooh. Choose how devilish you are. Choose, yeah. Human, fiend, hybrid, or devil. Look at the box to the right for more details. Choose 3 or more things that people fear that the group will be okay with. Try violence, war, zombie, typhoon, fox. Doll, clown, cockroach, future, bat, gun, chainsaw. Okay. You use devilish abilities at some level as a means of standing a chance in combat against these monstrous opponents. Each devil represents a fear humanity has. The stronger the fear, the stronger the devil. Neat. I choose Kilt. You're a regular human that has made contracts with other devils. For a painful price, you can use the power of the devil in this way. Choose 3 fears to have a contact with them. The first time you use it, you may disclaim how the power manifests and the price you pay. GM may appoint alterations to any or both. The other tables are there are tables with examples on the back. You're a human which has a devil instead of a heart. You look and think like a human, but have a trigger, describe it, that can transform you into a human-devil hybrid briefly. Choose 1 fear, usually an object, that you can embody. When you transform, describe what is human and what embodies the fear. While transformed, subtract 1 at every die rolled. When 1 is rolled, you start losing control. After alter back to human form, you are very... No, after back to human form, you are very drained. Fiend, you're a corpse possessed by a devil. You look human, except that your head has some devilish feature that gives you away. Describe it. Choose 1 fear that represents your devil form. You can use its abilities as a toned-down version. In a toned-down version. Every time you fail a human roll, make a mark. Cross a mark to add a die to a human roll. Oh, okay, so you get... Right. So you get to... Failing gives you the ability to get better next time. And devil, you are a devil who doesn't hate or want to eat humans, or at least refrains from doing so. You have a few human features to help you socialize. Choose 1 fear, usually not a strong one. You represent that fear and have abilities related to it. Every time you roll chainsaw, make a mark. So it's the opposite of fiend. Every time you roll human, cross that mark. Oh, it's not the opposite of... At 3 uncrossed marks, you may give in to evil. Okay. And now this is the gameplay, presumably. Rolling the dice. When you do something, roll 2d6 to find out how it goes. Roll another d6 if you're preparing or has an advantage. I have noted 3 spelling mistakes so far, which is not a deal breaker for me at all, but I'm dyslexic, and if I'm picking up on your bad spelling, just a bit of editing, guy. The real trick is, and this is, I don't know if it's something that everybody has, but like my teachers used to get very frustrated with me because I didn't proofread. And they weren't talking about grammar, or they weren't talking about like the content. They were just saying your spelling's really bad. You need to read through and make sure you've spelt everything correctly and you haven't missed words. And I'm like, do you have any idea how fucking pointless that is? If I spelt it that way, then I probably think that's how it's spelt. If I read it back again, I won't see the missed words. My brain fills in the blanks. It did it when I wrote it down. It's not going to be different now. Hey, Esty! We are very well today. Good to see you, my friend. How are you? We're having a look at Chainsaw Humans. A very, very short Devil Hunter RPG. As in, rules short. I don't think the game is short. You can either be a human, a hybrid, a fiend, or a devil. And you are hunting down other devils. Kind of neat. It is 2 pages long, and it looks neat, but I have a single issue with it. It's badly written, as in just spelled. Roll an extra 1 dice. Again, like an extra d6. 1d6, yeah. Just roll plus an extra 1d6. If you're preparing or have an advantage, you don't need and at all, you just or have advantage. Roll plus 1 dice. I don't care for the way it's shortened. I'm better now that the burning has stopped. Oh, good. Terrace had a thing. It's not well written. I mean, it's fine. It's just the spelling. There's just some formatting issues, some spelling issues, and it's not a deal breaker as it should not be. But it's like, if the content is good, I can get around it. But it's just like, come on, man. You're gonna publish it. You've gone to the effort of making it look pretty, because it's quite pretty. No, that's the opposite of actuals. Zoom out. There. It's well laid out. It looks quite like it's quite eye-catching. So they've gone to the effort of like doing that, but they haven't edited it. If you're going to be delivering text on a regular basis and you don't have a privacy need, Grammarly is your friend. Ah, yes. Words thesaurus is even quite workable. Yeah. It's just missing a final, just a final once-over by somebody who, I would say ideally, by somebody who isn't the person who wrote it. And that's the trick with a lot of little RPG games. It's just one person. A couple of games I've looked at today, I've gone, you just needed to get someone who'd never seen it before. Someone like me. I don't know, somebody who plays a lot of games, who can normally wrap their head around pretty much anything that they without necessarily needing to be talked through it, to see if they can fathom what the heck you're talking about. Like, if it's not obvious, you need somebody else to be able to tell you if something isn't obvious. I usually get this when I'm directing theater. I usually get in somebody else or a couple of other people who have not seen the script, who don't know the play at all, who don't even know the actors particularly well, to come in and have a look and say, hey, does this make fucking sense? I'm not looking for, like, serious notes. I just want you to tell me if it makes sense. Who's both free and competent is very, very challenging. Absolutely. Don't disagree at all, Crisp and Crunch. That is a challenge. A good editor is an absolute godsend, and I fortunately married one, so I'm speaking from privilege, but yeah, I don't think it would have taken, like, there's a difference between needs a full edit and just like the rules make sense. I can understand his point. It's just might have mentioned that you need a DM at the beginning, like just a little preamble. It feels a little bit like there's been a struggle to fit it all on 2 pages. And I'm like, just have a 3rd page, guy. It's a PDF. I have yeeted things at my husband while screeching, I've been up for 40 hours! Is this even English? I normally get Karen, if I'm angry and I'm writing a message, I'm like, hey Karen, can you read this and make sure I'm not being a dick? Karen's main job is to, hey, that one, don't say that bit. Okay, so rolling the dice. When you do something risky, roll 2d6 to find out how it goes. You can add another dice if you're prepared. You can add another dice if you're being helped by an ally. So functionally, I would call that advantage. And you can take a die off if you are hindered or in a bad position. So negatives as well as positives. Fine. GM tells you how many dice to roll based on your character and the situation. Roll your dice and compare each die result to your number. If you're using chainsaws, being brutal, bloody, and aggressive, you want to roll under your number. If you're using humans, being subtle, manipulative, or controlled, you want to roll over your number. If none of your dice succeed, it goes wrong. The GM says how many things get worse somehow. Oh, that's right. You choose a number between 2 and 5 at the very beginning of the game. Choose a number between 2 and 5. If you've got a high number, you're better at chainsaw. So if you say I'm a 5 and you roll 3 dice, you need to get, and you're trying to be human, you need a 6 to succeed, which is rough. I proofread reports and designs professionally, and many of them sure don't seem to have been written by an English speaker. Well, engineers are a different breed. So, if none of your dice succeed, it goes wrong. The GM tells you how things get worse somehow. If only 1 die succeeds, you barely manage it. The GM inflicts a complication, a harm, or a cost. If 2 die succeed, you do it well! Good job! For each additional success, you increase the effect of your action. The GM tells you how. If you roll the number exactly, you have Chainsaw Human, which counts as 2 successes, which is handy. At this point, my first language is legalese. Players, play the game. Get your character involved in crazy adventures and try to make the best of them. Embrace the problems and opportunities the GMs present you. Share the spotlight with other players. Make a story that you enjoy. Everyone is responsible for a fun session, not just the DM. If you ever feel discomfort during the session, ask to pause the scene, skip or rewind and revise. Here, I think the writer, the author, has done a good job, because they have summed up what a lot of people take significantly longer to say really fast. About the safety of playing the game and how does. Yeah. GM, run the game. Play to find out how they defeat the threat. Introduce the threat by showing evidence of its recent badness. Show signs before a threat does something to the characters that it's about to happen. Ask them what they do. The Bat Devil is spreading its wings as if to start flying. Or what do you do? This person has dyslexia. He's just missing or adding words unnecessarily. Guarantee it. A co-worker fiend says that she really misses her cat. What do you do? Call for a roll. When the situation is uncertain, don't plan outcomes beforehand. Let the chips fall where they may. Push the action forward. In failures too. Okay. Push the action forward in failures too. The situation never or always changes after a roll, for good or ill. Ask questions and build on the answers. Have any of you seen the Gun Devil before? Have any of you seen a Gun Devil before? When? What happened? Choose the tone of the game. This will be a mix of gonzo and silly with scary and harsh. It's good to mix gonzo and silly with scary and harsh. Portray devils according to the tone. Use the weird factor table for help. If in doubt, ask a player and show how it's worse than they were told. Okay, like, have you ever seen, like, what does this look like? Oh, well, that's what you were told it looks like. This is what it actually looks like. And just make it worse. Yeah, okay. That's cool, but could have been phrased better. Use safety tools. Fears can be a sensitive topic. Yep. Very solid. Again, it's well phrased. It's poorly written, but it's well phrased. He's summing it up very neatly in how does GM. That is a solid how does GM. Giving as much storytelling as you can to your characters, your players as possible. So to create an adventure, DM need not roll everything. 1, it's related to a hunter. Okay, so just a bunch of tables. A hack of losers and feelers. Okay, text layout by Diego Barreto. A hack of lasers and feelings by John Harper. Check out my games at deeplightgames.itch.io. You good? Oh, okay. I'm just gonna try rolling a devil. A 2, a 3, and a 4. These are the fears. 2 and a 3. Eh? Oh, right, okay. So you roll the first one. So a 2 and a 3. Well, actually, I got 4, 2, and 3. So 4, 2. 4, 2. Dolls. Oh no, that's 4, 1. 4, 2. Gun. And it's a 3. Gun. Yeah. It'll be a gun devil. Go. Let's try again. 1, 6, 2. 1, 6 is fish. Or it is fish needle, a needlefish. You use the alternate. Yeah, okay, cool. Alright. So that's how does generate. Yeah. Clever. Oh, and then you've got the weird factors. Weird factor. So the needlefish is humanoid. Features replaced missing. Face legs. Oh no. Oh, that's horrifying. The mix of man and creature. Mix of creature, man, and fear. Ugh. Yeah, does sound like it could be fun. I like it. Dirt octopus. Normal daily problem. The coworker hates your guts and causes trouble. Okay, yeah. Gotta head out for a bit. Dinner time. Crisp and crunch, not a problem at all. Take care, buddy. I'm gonna have a look at one more. No, don't close. I'm gonna have a look at Crap with Lord Byron. How about we open with possibly paint? There you go. Yeah. Blue. Go. Bit better. Doing, and now I will show you guys what I'm doing. Trapped in a cabin, live. Byron. Oh, Terrace, not a problem at all, mate. I transfer this to this. Oop. Okay. Now I need to make it viewable. That's too small. There we go. Formatting is such a large part of streaming. No one knows this. There we go. Okay. Now I can see what I'm doing and actually read the PDF. Bear with me a moment. There we go. Okay, cut. Boom. Better. Do keep in mind these games are supposed to be primarily just be funny. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Alright, you are on vacation with Lord Byron, who I don't know a lot about, to be honest. I'm just going to quickly Google them. Lord Byron. George Gordon Byron, 6th Baron of Byron, was known simply as Lord Byron's English romantic poet and peer. What was he famous for? Poetry and personality captured the imagination of Europe. Although made famous by the autobiographical poem He and His Many Affairs, he is perhaps better known today as for the satiric realism of Don Juan. Ooh. He wrote Don Juan. Okay. And he was exiled. Cruelty, adultery, and Byron's incest with his half-sister Augusta have been taken as explanation enough, though incest was punishable by the ecclesiastical courts, but not a criminal offense. Interesting. Okay. There you go. Oh, he wrote Curse of Hearts! As in Oliver Darkshire wrote Curse of Hearts. Love it. Take care, Radio Rob. Have a good night. Well, Well, you know Byron and Mary Shelley and her husband were trapped in a cabin together. That's how Frankenstein existed. I did know that Mary Shelley basically just... Yeah, it was the summer... Because it was the year Krakatoa went off. And no one had a summer, basically. Was it Krakatoa? I think it was Krakatoa. Yeah. Did you know that they were in that cabin with Lord Byron? Okay. Yeah, I just didn't know that. I'd heard that story from Karen. Yeah. Oh, it's exactly why you sent it to me, because of that mention. Alright, cool. Alright, so, trapped in a cabin with Lord Byron. We are writing Frankenstein, apparently. You are on vacation with Lord Byron in his holiday home when the weather has trapped you and your friends inside the house. Only the strong will survive. You have 3 scores: Scandal, Masterpiece, and Stress. A new day with Lord Byron. You start your holiday, generate a new Byronic event by rolling a 6-sided dice, a d6. Adjust your scores as directed by the event, then roll a new event. Keep rolling new events until your Scandal, Masterpiece, or Stress reaches 10. If your Scandal reaches 10, you are no longer fit to enter society and must flee to nurse your reputation. If your Masterpiece reaches 10, you create a new genre of supernatural horror fiction based on your time with Byron. If your Stress reaches 10, you lose your patience with the man and either kill him in a fit of rage or otherwise descend into uncontrollable weeping from which you never emerge. Special rule, Disaster Muse. If you roll 3 6s in a row, Byron destroys your manuscript either by accident or purpose during one of his episodes. Reduce the score to 0. Alright, Byronic event. So let's roll a Byronic event. Let's find out. So first, a 3. Byron's drama. Now we roll on the drama table. A 2. He's brought his pet bear. It is not trained. Plus 2 stress. Fuck it, let's play it. Given that this is actually in paint. Hey, Lost Archives, thanks for the raid, you bloody champions. I am playing a solo TTRPG, one-page RPG by Oliver Darkshire called Trapped in a Cabin with Lord Byron. Very stressful so far. Hey, Aquatic Archie, how are you, matey? Thanks for the raid, you bloody champions. Avast, mateys, you wee scallywags. Goose raids in chat, everyone. How was your stream, lovely folks? Shout out at... Yeah. Nope, not that one. Boom. Some very shiny raid emotes there, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Owen, how are you, mate? Yeah, what were you doing? What were you streaming? I can see D&D, but what were you doing? I have just decided to play this game because I think it looks entirely like it's based on luck, but could be fun. Why not? Yeah, we have 2 stress points already. And another one here. Because we are holidaying with Lord Byron, and we have been trapped inside with him and his bear. He has a pet bear, and it's not trained. Very stressful. In fact, you guys are here. Why am I rolling dice? Guys, roll me ! Roll space 6 in chat. Let's find out what happens next. ! Roll space 6. That one. Hello. I got a 3 on my first one, so we are talking about another drama from Byron. More drama from Byron. And the Lorite gets a 4 this time. He's in the papers again, which means you are too. Plus 1 scandal. What's he done this time? I actually think it's us. He's done me. Right, more D6s. I need more. Terrace gets a 4. More drama. Alright. 4 for drama. He wants you to read his poetry. Plus 5 stress. Very stressful reading Byron's poetry, apparently. I rolled a 3 on the drama table. I think I'm gonna kill him. I'm up to 7 stress. I haven't worked on my masterpiece at all yet. Wonder what my masterpiece is. Oh my god. Yeah, that's heavy. Alright. More D6s. Someone roll more than, like, a 1 or a 2, or maybe a 5 or a 6. We've had 3, 4 dramas now. Oh, wow. Alright. A 6! Yes! A brief readout. Okay. And then a 5. Wise. A chest of wine. -1 masterpiece. Well, it can't go below 0. I find some wine and get drunk. Yes. I hide briefly from Byron. Terrace got a 4. Terrace, stop. I could type, I swear. Okay, so it's drama again. A 6, though. Oh, he's found a new skull to use as a goblet. Plus... Is that 3? I think it was only 3. Yeah, plus 3 scandal. 2, 3. And actually... Your bot is broken. It likes the number 4. It does seem to, doesn't it? It's because a lot of people are rolling all at once. That's why. I know why. Yeah, it does that a lot. I rolled a pair of 3s. More poetry. I just can't not roll 3s. Adana got a 3 as well. Yeah, we're just getting drama. We haven't had any recreations yet. 6. There you go. There's another one. 6 and 2. -1 stress. He's busy with a paramour. At least you haven't rolled 3 6s. Well, yeah, I mean... It wouldn't matter, Terrace. I haven't gotten any masterpieces yet. -1 stress. Can you imagine journaling this? Yes. Ooh, pair of 4s. He's in the papers again, which means you are too. Another scandal. Ooh, 2 and 4. His half-sister is here, and they are far too intimate. +2 scandal. Ooh. 6 and 1. He makes an excellent muse on occasion. Which means we decrease our stress by 1 and increase our masterpiece by 2. We've actually started working on our masterpiece. I think it is a recipe for cake. My masterpiece. Good, you do not define yourself as a masterpiece, because if he destroys a masterpiece, it's going to be extra painful. Yeah, I'm working on my body. I'm like, I went here to work out a lot. Like, he's got a home gym. And so when he destroys it, basically, he just plies me with cake and wine and food. He finally shoved the bear outside. Ooh, double 6! That actually means, I just got 3 6s in a row. Byron destroys your manuscript either by accident or on purpose during one of his episodes. Reduce the score to 0. No! But he is passed out in his study afterwards, which I write a little bit about on my masterpiece. So I fill in that one again. 6 5. Oh, that's another one. Yeah, he's still asleep. So I'm back up to 2. 2 and 1. He's aware that is he aware that the walls are exceptionally thin? Back up that stress. But I had deleted it before, so yeah. Okay. 6-3. A walk around the house, underwear on our heads. +1 scandal. Apparently. 8 scandal. Okay. Yep. His half-sister is here. And they are far too intimate. +2 scandal. I just maxed out the scandal, boys and girls! Which means we are no longer fit to enter society and must flee to nurse our feelings. My reputation may never recover, Terrace. Well, that's funny. Thank you for sending that one, Terrace. That is an amusing one. Do not save because I just scribbled all over it. Alright. Oh god. Played around. Formatting. No! Not the formatting! No. Alright. And one more to look at. One more. Very stern. Solo games. No, that wasn't what I was wanting. I want... Oh, pardon me. Games to look at. There we go. 2 seeds. Oh, yeah. Okay. Look at this one. This one's a very short one as well. Don't cut. Okay. I think we may need to zoom in for this. I can barely read it. There we go. So this one sort of has to be printed out. Maybe. Okay. There is another way of reading it. There we go. Be the tree. Here we go. So, for generations, your family has lived a normal life, and your family become an important part of the local society life. It has been a few months, but since a few months, you ask yourself questions. What are traditions worth? Why are you thinking something could go wrong, even if everybody around you tells you that everything is fine? Is there a meaning of the society? Why should everyone have to live by the same standards? Since you've been asking yourself questions, you've been careful to what the people you meet talk about. I feel like English was not this person's first language. You hear everybody around you talking about the inhabitant who was publicly beaten up. Whew. Keep these 2 results in mind. It's been months and there was somebody beaten up. Life's going on. Now you almost finished to read this part of the game. Soon you'll go outside on your day or your activity. You walk near a tree and there's a leaf that seems different from the others. Stop for a few seconds. Look at this tree leaf. What's the first word coming to your mind? Look at this tree leaf. Maybe this is not the only leaf to be different from the majority. Observes the leaves and then the entire tree. Let your mind go. If you see a tree but can't stop to observe, maybe you're fast, no problem. Focus on the leaf as much time as possible, and don't forget to look at the entire tree. If you see no tree, neither on the outward nor the return journey, postpone this game until the next day, or next walk outside. Stop reading here and now go outside on your day or your activity. Do your stuff. You'll read the rest of the game when you come back, when you'll be back at home. And then there's the other one, don't cut the tree. For generations, your family has lived a normal life. You are living as like society wants. The same way your parents are living themselves. You're now a parent too, and you are also the famous great advocate of capital city, and people like you. No kidding. You're doing a great job, but there's something bothering you since your child was revealed. Since your child has revealed something to you, something personal, which only involve your child, but which can be a problem for people who rely on you. Or maybe that's the problem for you and not your people. You hesitate for a long time to respond to your child. You don't know how to react. Finally, you decide to write a letter, after having hesitated, thinking about it for decades. Wow. Keep these two results in mind. Governor of the cyber world. Life's going on. Now, you almost finished this part of the game. Soon you will go outside on your day or your activity. You walk near a tree, look at it, yada yada yada. Observe it. See the tree, next day, walk outside. Stop reading. Okay. There is one where you end up drawing ravens all over the page and must periodically shout, "Ravens!" Best played in a library, I imagine. Back with pleasantly filled tummy. Glad to hear it, Crisp and Crunch. I'm struggling to make heads or tails of this one. I'm not sure what the point is. You're back at home. Okay, right. Now you're at home. This is the first one again. I've gone back to the first one. Try to remember the word you thought when you saw the leaf. Take a sheet of paper, write it. You don't remember? Write a sentence about it. Now, beginning by, on the top of the tree, there are. Take a breath. You notice how I took a breath there? Hey, Absalom Duck. If you have something to do in your real life, do it. Do it while thinking of the sheet of paper. If you are already in the spirit of the game and inspired, just go to the next step, writing your letter. Write to your parent. If you already played Don't Cut the Tree, then you're the child of your previous character. You respond to the person you played in the first game. Adapt your letter according to your previous occupation. For example, if you played an evil dungeon master, you'll be their child. It won't give the same letter if you're the child of a king. If you haven't played Don't Cut the Tree, here is your situation. You're struggling with something. Something is wrong in society. There are frontiers between people, frontiers between you and the majority. You feel like you don't fit in. What's the problem exactly? According to your dice roll, you have an idea of an explanation if you've been asking yourself questions since months to decades, but you have more questions if you've been asking yourself questions for only a few hours or weeks. Remember the two results you previously got dice rolls to write the explanation for the new questions you got. So, in this instance, we had been thinking for months about the inhabitant who was publicly beaten up. So, well, you'll write your letter answering the three following questions. What do you think about what the people are talking about? What do you think about society and your family's way of thinking? What are you afraid of? Burn it or send it. It's now the moment to decide. You're going to throw the letter in the trash, or will you send it to the recipient? If you choose to throw it or burn it, but please be careful with the fire, keep water close to you, and avoid abrupt movements and flammable areas. The game is over. If you do choose to send it, you can play the recipient by playing Don't Cut the Tree, or give it to someone who will play the recipient. That's cool. So, write to the child. If you already played Be the Tree, then you're the parent of the previous character. You respond to the person you played the first time. If you have defined a situation that does not correspond to your current occupation, for example, you're playing a contemporary world but you're now a shaman, that means you're far away from your kid in a distant country, for example. Oh, okay. Alright. I admire your dedication, Josh the Pirate. I came in late and this gets recursive. Yeah, it's... I get it, but it takes a little minute to get it. But it's neat. It's a cool. It's basically a narrative prompt. It's a short narrative prompter, but it doesn't say it at all. 2 seeds, 2 letters, 2 sides of a game. Solo game. By Angela Guidam. Okay. It's neat. It's a nice little idea. Head of the Mafia, King of the Kingdom, respected shaman of the Tree Tribe. Governor of Cyberworld. Yeah. Again, I could see it as a theater game. More an English class game, though, I think, because it's letter writing. But you could modify it just slightly to make it like a monologue. That could be quite entertaining, quite interesting. Yeah. Well, there you have it. So, neat. I think is what I would call that. So we've had a few today, haven't we? We've gone through a bunch. Yeah, 2 seeds. That is called. Not called Be the Tree. It's called 2 Seeds. And it came with 3 different variations of it. So I couldn't figure out which one to read first. And neat, but needs an editor. Yeah, the lady who wrote it just again just needs to pass with somebody who speaks English as a first language, because I genuinely think that that their English wasn't top notch. Chainsaw Humans was again needed something similar, but the concept was really cool. I would be interested to see how the fears comes along. There wasn't a huge amount of detail given about how the fear works, what they mean by the fears. I think, and it's my note with a lot of these, fitting it on 2 pages means they're trying to cram in an awful lot of information. Like it feels like both times they set out to take up 2 pieces of paper. And I'm like, just give me a 3rd piece of paper, yeah? So that I can actually know what you mean. If you just write just a little bit more, you can be just a little bit more specific. I think it's quite important, but there we go. Then we had a look at Swing, which was well done by comparison, but generally just not really my thing. Well, not so much my thing. Yeah, it was actually quite my thing, but nothing special. That would be the note I gave. Like, it's a method for superhero storytelling using a very simple for rules. Like, if you're looking for a new way to teach RPGs to a group of people who've never played them before, or a one-shot, you just want to do a short story, it would work quite well with children, I would say. Like, pre-teens, you need them to be a little bit older. Like, I wouldn't play it with 6-year-olds, but 8, 9, 10, 11, that sort of age group, I reckon could do well with it. Like baby's first RPG, I would say. But a good little system. And yeah, uses the Caltrop core, which we like. Then we looked at Retail.Therapy, which was a bit... I could see why it would be fun, but it's not for me, that sort of thing. Which is the occasional. I do get those, and that's okay. And I very briefly went through Birds Love Dirt, which again, not my thing. That LARP, it's a bird-based LARP. And Parley, which I think is MVP of the day. Just, yeah, I want to do that. I want to do that one. That could be very fun, I reckon. And it's a game. Your peace tracker starts at 0, and you have to get to 6. You have to not get to 6. Pardon me. Yeah. Parley is, but this is so much down to taste. Well, I like superhero movies, but I've never been that into superheroes, you know? So the superhero game probably wasn't going to grab me as much as it otherwise could have. Yeah. I would definitely play a telekinetic. That's sort of my vibe is telekinesis. That's sort of... But for a power fantasy, for me, as a kid, it was always about my brain, because I was a smart kid. I was like, what if I was just a little bit smarter? Or my brain was just a little bit more capable. I empathized hard with Matilda. Not in that I had abusive parents, I didn't, but, yeah, like... She was a smart kid where no one understood her, you know? Yeah. But, yeah, there's a couple here I really want to try out. I would be mildly curious to try out, 2 Seeds. Just to see how it works, how it plays. I would be mildly curious to try Swing. Just in terms of the balance of it. I always love trying a new system just for how that balance works in-game. It's why I quite like the Teens in Space system. The Kids on Bikes system. That works, that really vibes with me. I've played Savage Worlds, which I did over on Phoenix Iwaki, and it was really cool. But I found it very prone to cock-up cascade. Once you start losing, you will probably keep losing. And this was something the DM told us at the beginning. Like, this is something that's well-known, established problem with this system. And I'm like, is it a problem, or is it just, it's a different way to tell a story? And I would say, yeah, but I came here for a power fantasy, you know? I came here to be the hero of the story, not to have the shit kicked out of me. So, and I think it's important, particularly when you're going into a new system, to have a talk about expectations. Whereas this is the thing with Call of Cthulhu, there is a well-known, you are going to get the shit kicked out of you. That's the point of it. I'm like, cool, and I don't sign up for it. You can play Pulp Cthulhu where you actually do win. But yeah, the D100 system is an interesting system that I haven't played with a lot, but I don't mind. The playing with the D100 isn't the problem. It's how those rules are interpreted, how those roles are interpreted, because 100 is a big amount of variety compared with a D6. The Savage World system is everybody starts. Each stat has its dice score attached to it, and as you level up, you get points with which to increase the number of the dice that you roll. So it starts as every stat is at basic a D4 minus 2. So the best you can possibly roll on each stat is a 2, but dice do explode, so you can theoretically roll. I've seen someone roll a 10 on a D4 minus 2. No, it would have been an 11. 10 actually isn't possible. Yeah, he rolled 3 4s, and we were like, that's more than enough, you can stop. Yeah, but you crank that up to a 4, and then you crank that up to a 6, and then an 8, 10, 12, 20. Although, I don't know if anybody ever gets to 20. I just... the number you'll be shooting for is never more than sort of 8. I get to 20. I don't know. You'd have to play quite a long time to get to that. Cool. Alrighty. Well, yeah. I use exploding die for firearm in Ravnica. Ah, yes. That would be a good idea. Yeah. I like the idea of using it for crits. It's a special, like, rather than not for crits. What am I thinking about? Rather than I watched a YouTube video about modifying weapons, having weapons be not just, oh, it's a special weapon, it's +1. Yeah, where like I gave Selenox, I think, a sword recently, or a weapon recently, that it's a crossbow. It was Selenox's crossbow, and it's not overly special. Basically, she gets to roll 2 dice and pick the better one for the damage. So she rolls the damage with advantage on this crossbow, and that's another way of doing it, having the dice explode. For a particularly, like, this one's really good. When it hits hard, it like, I would say, like, it makes sense for like a sniper rifle. If you do max damage, then you do more damage. Yeah, that sort of thing. But yeah, Absalom die. That's a really good idea. I like that. I'm storing that in the brain castle for later. So yeah, sorry you joined us a bit late, Absalom Dak. I'm just about wrapping up. But I'm gonna raid Crit and Miss, because they raid us a bunch and I haven't gotten to recently. So guys, we're gonna drop a raid on Crit and Miss. Let's see. It says they're playing D&D. Let's have a quick looklet. Kaleidoscope of Conflict, Ep 7, Shadow of the Dragon Queen. Alrighty, level 4. Okay, let's do that. Let's raid Crit and Miss. So guys, throw your favorite raid emotes up in chat. Tell Crit and Miss where we came from, and I'll see you guys next time. I will be back on Thursday evening for some more Humble Word. It is the time zones, and that's absolutely fair, Absalom Dak. Hey, Morphs. Thanks for joining me. Good to see you. Yeah, let's drop a raid on Crit and Miss. Guys, thanks so much for joining me. I hope to see you guys next time. Say goodbye, Josh. Bye, Josh.